Hi all, this is Priyadharshini working as an assistant professor in the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. Today we are going to discuss the topic the characteristics of big data. So as we all know, the characteristics of big data are of 5 V's. So let's see what is first big data and then we'll move to the characteristics of big data. So from the figure itself we can able to find how big is the big data, as we all know that the data never sleeps. So what is the definition of big data? So big data is the data which is high variety, high volume and high velocity of information assets which demands cost effective and technology based analytics is to be done so as to give the better insights for making the decision process effective for the business organization. So this is about big data according to the definition of IBM. So let's see the tremendous voluminous growth of big data since it has been evolved from 2010 to 2024. This is the tremendous growth of big data. How speed and how variety of data has been generated, we can able to see from this figure. So what to do with the big data? So what are the organizations expecting from big data? So with the big data, the organizations can do advanced analytics, the business intelligence, the better informed decisions, business intelligence to increase the sales, the profits for the customer as well as for the organization, identify the business risks involved and to predict what are the new business opportunities so as to gain the better insight to my business organization. So let's see what are the big data characteristics. So when we say big data characteristics itself, that is nothing but the V's of big data. In early, that is when the big data has been evolved, in earlier stage it was 3 V's. So volume, velocity, variety, and commonly 4 V's were there, whereas it is called the veracity, and now it is commonly called 5 V's. Value is also added, and later on 8 V's also will be added to the big data characteristics. So what does mean by volume? So volume is nothing but the amount of data being generated per second. So what will be the sources of this volume being generated? So enormous is the data can be from any sources like social media, it can be from IoT sensor data devices or from mobile devices, financial records, the stock market data, weather data. So these are all some few examples of the sources of the data being generated per day. So let's look into the volume of data, how big the data is. Next comes the velocity. The next V is velocity of data. So velocity is, we all know, the speed. So velocity of the data is nothing but the rate at which the data is received and also the speed at which the data is generated. So this is the next characteristics of a big data. So the sources, the velocity may be from the climatic control data, social media, healthcare, stock exchange predictions, banking transactions, IoT sensor devices, and even from transportation devices. The next characteristic being the types of data and the variety of data being generated. So variety, there are different types of data being generated every time, and there are also various forms of data. So the various forms of data may be linked data, network data, event data, time series data, natural language processing data, real-time data, geographical data, structured, unstructured. So these are all various forms of data being generated. So in big data characteristics, when we talk about the variety of data, so this variety of data has been categorized into structured, unstructured and semi-structured. So what is structured? So the main example that can be used for structured data can be RDBMS, our traditional database management system. Here the data will be in an organized manner, so that is why it is called as the structured data. The semi-structured data is in between the structured and unstructured data. So we call them as semi-structured. It contains both the structural format as well as it will be in unstructured format too. The examples include XML, HTML, RDF, JSON documents. Unstructured data, there will not be any schemas here. So the examples may be from social media data, like it can be of text, audio, video, logs, images and so on. So these are the different varieties of data being generated. So let's see how the different forms of data being generated. The next one will speak about veracity. Veracity is nothing but it speaks that of uncertainty of the data. So it speaks about the uncertainty, how inconsistent or incomplete it is, whether the data quality is reliable or unreliable, how the accuracy of data also it speaks, the truthfulness of the data, then data from different sources might be unreliable also. So that all will cover under veracity of data. And the final characteristics of data is the value. So value in terms of how social or economic value that the data might create. It also represents the benefit of data to our business, the business intelligence, how it's used in business intelligence, the insights in our business organization, and what is the informed decision making. So these are all about the characteristics of big data.